Well, hey, Moms in Ministry, we have officially kicked off our 5 day Reset Your Life challenge. I am so glad that you're joining us for this challenge. We have had so many of you sign up to get your free ebook and be a part of this challenge. I'm looking forward to the next 5 days. A few weeks ago, I took one day to step away from everything, shut off my phone, and really just focus on 2025, focus on the vision that God had given me, and really create a plan to see it fulfilled. And I want to help you do that. But instead of doing it in one day, especially as we get back into school and work and our responsibilities, I wanted to help you break it down into a 5 day plan. So at the beginning of this week, we're really going to establish where we're going. And by the end of this week, you will end day 5 on Friday with a clear plan for where you are going over the first 3 months of 2025. This should be the catalyst to a great year. And my goal this year is to help you become your best self. Becoming your best self is going to require intentionality. It's going to require planning and diligence and maybe changing some of the things that you've done before. And so I'm really looking forward to being on this journey with you. Maybe you're watching this right now and you haven't gotten your copy of our free ebook. I want to invite you to do that. There will be a link in the captions so that you can go and download the free ebook and get a copy of this. And it has all of the content that you need to walk through this 5 day reset challenge. You can do it with us, or you can even do it alone. Take a day and use this as your guide for your planning for 2025. So today is just a quick dive into day 1 and what we're doing for day 1. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define our ministry vision. And so today, I want you to take time to think about what God has called you to in this season. And then the simplicity of this is you're going to answer 3 questions. Number 1 is just a prayer and reflection question. We invite you to take some time to pray and reflect on what God is speaking to you in this season. And so I want to encourage you today, take 10 minutes, 15 minutes to just sit in God's presence. Ask Him to speak a word into your heart. Ask Him to point you in the direction of a specific scripture. Ask Him to highlight some of the recent events in your life and see if He might pinpoint what He wants to do in your life in this season. Here's what I know is God always has an assignment for us. It might be what we're already doing. It might be something new, but there's always something that God has called us to be a part of, to do, to prepare for, to wait on. There's always something that He wants you to engage in. Some of the things I think about here is maybe you have a one word for the year. I always have a one word for the year. This year it's confident. But every year, God places a word in my life that will define the year that I'm walking into. And so maybe it's a one word. Maybe you're starting a new job or career, or you're starting this season of staying home. Maybe you're about to welcome a new little one into your family. Whatever that is, use that to define what God might be asking of you in this season. Anything that comes to mind, you can jot it down on the lines below or add your journal. Maybe you have more you're hearing from God, write it down in your journal, and then continue to pray and consider. The second thing is we want to help you write a clear ministry statement. So whatever the season looks like, I know some of you don't work in full-time ministry. Some of you may serve. Some of you may be thinking about it, but you're not quite sure. And for every one of you, you can write something down. Remember, we're all called to ministry in some capacity. When you became a Christian, God called you to go out and make disciples of all nations. So maybe your ministry is at home and you're saying, hey, in this season, God has called me to raise children that are fully devoted followers of Christ. That would be your ministry vision. Maybe you lead a team or a department and you're saying in this season, my calling is to lead a team that is fully developed, fully devoted, and fully engaged in the mission of our church. Whatever it might be, write down that vision, write down what you feel like God is asking you to do in this season. It should only be one sentence. So take some time to reflect and think about it and then write out what you hear God saying. Also, don't make it super complicated. Make it simple, make it achievable, make it something that you truly feel like you can work towards this year. And then the third are your top three ministry values. I like to think of values as guardrails. You see, guardrails help us define what we can and cannot do, right? So it gives you the freedom, just like if you're on a road, if I'm on a freeway, I have the freedom to switch lanes, to do different things, to go in different directions. Well, in one direction, but the guardrails keep me in the same path. They keep me going in the right direction. And so when you have values and when you know what you stand for, when you know what God has called you to hold true to, then that helps define what you say yes to in this season and what you say no to in this season. And so maybe your values are the values of your home. Just think about a few things that you would like your home to embody. Maybe this is a conversation that you have with your spouse or with those that are in your house. Maybe your values, because you're leading a team at a church that you are not the lead pastor of, maybe your values embody or complement or come out of your church values. So, for example, one of ours is we passionately pursue God. That's one of my personal values because it's one of my church's personal values. And so, there with the alignment, that would be one of the ministry values for me in this season. Another one for me is people. I want to love people well. And again, it complements what we do at the church that I serve at, but it's also a value that this year I really want to focus on. And family is the other one for me. But if when you do that, when people are asking you to make decisions, when you're stuck between, well, do I do a little bit more work or do I make that phone call to check on my team member? For me, I know that I'm going to make the phone call to check on my team member because I am committed and fully focused on loving on people well. So when you put your values together, when you determine what's going to guide your decision making process for the year, that will help you know how to navigate different requests, different invitations to different things in each season. I hope that this helped as you're diving into the 5 day reset challenge. Continue to push forward. This should only take you 5 to 10 minutes a day to complete. And so take that time, set it aside, and be a part of what God is doing in Moms in Ministry. And let's define our goals well together. See you tomorrow for our next day of planning for 2025.